Okay, so this is gonna be a completely different video than what I normally do, like on the complete other end of the spectrum. But to keep it simple, this is gonna be the top 5 books that I've personally read. And you know, I'm doing this mostly because I have several friends now that want to start reading, but they don't know where to start. So this is kind of like a basic intro to stuff I like, and you know, maybe you find something you want, or it gives you like a, hey, maybe I should start here, maybe I should start there kind of thing. So yeah, it's cool. Reading's cool. You learn a lot of cool shit from it. I'm just saying. Anyway, start this off. Coming at number 5, we have Supermarket, which this book I'm a little biased to because of the author, but this book is also just a fun read. So this book takes place in a supermarket. Obviously, it's this dude named Finn. He works at a supermarket, and without spoiling it, it's basically this dude, Finn, works at the supermarket. He has several mental health problems, and it just goes in that, and there's a whole like story to it, and it's just crazy. There's so many twists you won't see coming to it, but it's a very fun read. This is one of the books that I found myself coming back to, which is funny because I don't read storybooks like this mostly. I like more of a advice kind of books, but this book is just fun to read. I read it twice now, which I don't think I've ever done that with a book, but it's just fun if you're looking for something. And you know, it's also just, there's a good amount of comedy in it, despite the fact that there's a lot of corny lines in here, but there's some pretty good comedy in here that could make you chuckle. But other from that, 90% of it is just a fun read. So coming in at number 4, we have Jay-Z with his Empire State of Mind, which is not written by Jay-Z, by the way. It's about Jay-Z. So this book is kind of like a loose biography of Jay-Z, and it's just an interesting read about, you know, the billionaire that Jay-Z is. So it just goes really deep into Jay-Z up to, I think, 2014 or somewhere around there. And it just talks about his past, all the shit that he's went through, all the stuff to become where he is, I guess, like 6 years ago, but where he is now as Jay-Z, the businessman, who also does music sometimes, which we haven't had a Jay-Z album in like 4 years, so just saying. But it's really fun, and you can learn a lot of stuff from it, which, you know, you won't notice that you learn it until you actually use it, and you're like, oh, I learned that from this book. And you know, it's weird saying that because you're gonna learn some things from this book, despite the fact that I'm willing to bet you are not a drug dealer turned rapper turned American businessman turned billionaire. So it's just weird how it works, how you grab this knowledge that you don't know you grab, and you just use it, and you don't know you're using it until you notice you're using it. It's crazy how all this works. But overall, this book is just fun to read and learn stuff about Jay-Z and just business, I guess. So solid number 4. Coming in at number 3, you've probably seen this on a lot of videos before since I see it everywhere, and I just picked it up because I was like, okay, everyone's reading it, why not? I see it on every person's YouTube channel. This is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So this book, as the name describes, is the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Really, this book just focuses on what you should care about and stuff that you shouldn't, how to just manage yourself better. It's just more of an advice book on how to perceive life and your daily routine better, how to do all that, and it's just a good advice book to read. I would recommend this to anyone. It's just a kind of basic, like, here, let's get your life somewhat under control. It just goes into that, and the author's funny too, I'm not gonna lie. He has some pretty funny stuff in there, had a lot of cool stories, had one really sad story in there. Still, then we're in the top 2s now, which there's only 2. I mean, I can't really be like that, but we have The Tao of the Wu, I think that's how you say it, which I'm like 90% sure that means the way of the Wu in Asian language. I don't know which one. But this is written by the RZA from WuTang. If you don't know that, I'm sorry. Just look up the RZA. He's a god here. So really, this book is just kind of a wisdom book. Despite it really not being a wisdom book, it's just a wisdom book. You know, it goes into the history of Wu-Tang, which is fun in general because it's Wu-Tang. And, you know, the wisdom that RZA speaks on this book, it just hits you pretty hard because you're not expecting it, and you're not expecting anything of the book, and it just hits you, and you're like, damn. And to me personally, this is the book that had the most impact on me because of all the weird stuff that is true that he said, and I was like, damn period. But it's just a really interesting book to give you a different visual of life from someone else that grew up in Staten Island, poor, rapper. You get the whole thing. It's very interesting how it all works. And once again, it's Wu-Tang. You can't go wrong with them. Now, for number 1, this is an interesting one since I was not expecting this to be number 1 when I first read it, because I'm gonna be quite honest with you. When I first got it, I thought I'd hate the book, but no, turns out to be my number 1 in the 40-some books I've read. So this is Steve Jobs, which I would be considered an Apple fanboy. Okay, I just like Apple. Fight me over it. It's just a good company. I just fucking like Apple. Okay, get over it. Hop off my wiener, dude. Anyway, this book is just a great book. It dives deep into Jobs' life, which it just goes over everything he did from, I think, high school. I'm like 90% sure it starts at high school, all the way up to his death in 2011. I think, yeah, October something, 2011. I'm like 90% sure that's it. Anyway, this book, the thing that appealed to me most was just the way of his everyday life and how he lived so differently compared to the mass population of people. He lives a very interesting life that if you don't know about, you just wouldn't expect. I mean, this is also the guy that didn't put license plates on his car and would buy a new car every 3 months, so it's just interesting. It's Steve Jobs. He's a crazy man, but he's genius, because what genius isn't crazy? Anyway, it's just really good. The only problem with it is that it's like 600 pages. And I don't know if you're like me, but pages that are over 400, or books that are over 400 pages, I look at them very skeptical, because I don't want to read 400 pages because I really don't want to lose hope that quick in it. But this was really worth it. If I would read it again, I would, but I'm not, because I have several books I want to read after the one I'm reading now, which is Let Love Have the Last Word by Common, the producer, rapper / actor, which it's a good book, but I'm not finished with it yet. Anyway, for that's all my favorite books that I've read, the top 5 at least, which there's many more, but that's about all of them that I really enjoyed, that I would go back and recommend to people and be like, hey, want to start reading books? What do you want? Okay, read this, read that. So it's just really they're just good books, okay? It's simple. Anyway, that's all for the video. If you're found something like interesting in this video, like maybe you learned a thing or two, or you're just looking for new books to read, let me know in the description below. And if you want to check out any of these books, I will have all their links in the description below, which you can check out. I don't have a code or anything I can't plug, but what I will plug is twitch.tv/Hornet31. Hit your boy up. Streams are a little MIA right now, but they will be back in 2 weeks max, next week minimum. Anyway, that's been for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe for more on YouTube. I will see you next time. Goodbye.